Well, welcome to our Friday night hangout. I've got to do a couple of more pieces of business as normal. It's such a pain in the rear. I got this on. Save. All right, we're good to go. What the hell was that? Okay, we're going. Well, this wing, I just got off the phone with Al Ferraro, who's going to fly the engine for this airplane for him. And wants me to see if I can get it done before Brodak, and I'm gonna try. It ain't like I ain't trying. I only got what 6 weeks to go before Brodak. Let's see. Keep my fingers crossed. I had that wedge. What did I do with it? There it is. Of course, way down in there. Oh, that's nice. That's much more better. That's much better. Fellas, I think I got it. I think I figured it out finally. That's all it's got to do is come out of this nice. Looks good on this side. Nice sharp edge. Great. There it is. So far, so good. That turned out perfect so far. Now just blow it out of the mold here. Let me switch the camera angle. Come on. Uh-oh. Uh, okay. Camera angle switched. Let's see what it looks like coming out of the mold. Get my blow gun. Ta-ta-da-da! I'm happy. It's perfect. Finally. Finally. That's nice. Perfect. That took a while to do. Al was saying, well, we can just paint it. No, we're not painting it. This is now this has got extra splash on it. Let's see what it weighs. Oh yeah. Yeah, that'd be nice. The wing finish, hey caffeine, the wing finish to be about 2.5 ounces. What happened to my there it is. Oh, caffeine was trying to come in. All right. Oh, I'm happy. I'm happy, happy, happy. Took a month finally to get a perfect part. But now I know. So I need to make another one. Need to make another female from this male. It'll be fine. How did that line come out this time? Yeah, we had a little bit right there, but it'll be fine. What side was that? And it was up there on that side. Need to add a little more resin to the next one. I mean, it's right there. In fact, I cut that out. Are we still streaming? Let me check the stream here. I think so. Yeah, we're still on. We're still on, and we got 11 watching. Come on, guys, get in here. As we get a couple chatters come in, I'll go and trim this stuff off and see how much it weighs. I think the completed wing is gonna be about 2.5 ounces. And this stuff still needs to be heat cycled to make it strong, but it'll be even stronger when it gets heat cycled. We need to do this with colloidal silica. This nice sharp edge. Boy, I wish this didn't look so crappy. I think when they come on, I might re-PVA this, wipe it off and re-PVA it. Because I want it perfect. I don't want to have no problems. And once I get this other one done, and I get the wing glued together, we can move on to the fuselage. I'm thinking that I'm going to have to pour some silicone rubber inside this fuselage mold to do the same thing. So that when I lay this up, I'll put the silicone plug back in it and vacuum bag it down. Matter of fact, I know I am. I need another couple more. I need a couple more things of that mold star foam rubber. None of this shit happens fast, that's for sure. All right. Somebody gonna come in or am I gonna be by myself? Did I post it on Stunt Hangar? I believe I did. It is posted on Stunt Hangar. $10. Well, caffeine was in here for a second. I guess he got a bad connection. My valve for this pump, vacuum pump, will be here Monday. We're going to take this off and wire in an automatic valve so this thing will cycle by itself instead of leaving it run for 12 hours. It's kind of low on oil there. Need to get some more oil in it. To get some 30 weight. Actually, it looks more like 20 to me, but I don't know. I saw him cutting that carbon with a oscillating saw. I don't think I have a steady enough hand to cut that with oscillating saws. Do it with the band saw. Couldn't ask for any better. Perfect. Got one little void the size of a head of a pin right there. What are you gonna do? Just on the next pull, I'll have to make it better, that's all. There we go. Hey, Gary.
Hi, Sparky.
Let me
How you
turn
doing?
the sound down. Go ahead. Keep talking.
Okay. Oh, you got to test some stuff. Okay. And how you making out on your job there?
I finally got a perfect pull today.
That's good.
This is the deal right here. Took a month to get this part, but I got it.
You got it. It's good.
So gonna make another mold tonight. As soon as somebody comes on and they go, oh, there we go.
Hey, Bob. Yeah.
Hey, Bob.
Hi, gang.
Hey, Bob.
Hi, Gary. How are you?
Pretty good.
What are you working on, Sparky?
I am building carbon fiber perkies.
Carbon fiber turkeys?
Perky.
Oh, perkies. Perkies. Oh, the little speed plane.
Yeah.
Yeah, got it. Okay, got it. I think
Here's
it's a carbon fiber turkeys. I'm thinking.
here's the half of the fuselage mold.
Hmm.
And this is half of the wing mold. We're gonna make another wing mold tonight. I just pulled it out of this mold here. I need that anyway to put back in the oven.
How'd you make the model for the wing mold? Did you carve it and shape it by eye, or?
I took the plans and glued two pieces of 3/8 together, top and bottom this way,
Yeah.
and then made sure it was straight, and then sanded it to that straight line, then split them apart. So you got a top half and a bottom half. Mounted it to this piece of plastic. This is a plastic board here. And then poured the female part. This is the male, then I poured the female, then molded the wing on the female. Here's Al. Two images. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, mini pipe. Yeah. All right, I got the picture, Al.
That Al Ferrara?
Yeah. But it's been a month working on this thing, and I got one part that's I got a bunch of rejects. I mean, they work, but they're not cosmetically pretty,
That one looks nice.
This is only half of them. I got a bunch of them. This one would work, but not pretty. Yeah, I got it, Al. This one would work, but it's too flimsy. I'm trying to get the schedule going. This is the schedule on this one is 1/2 ounce glass cloth, then carbon fiber, then 1/2 ounce glass cloth. Too flimsy. This one here is 1/2 ounce glass cloth, 3 layers of carbon. It's stiff as a board. Plus it has toe running from tip to tip in it. I mean, it's really stiff, but it's too heavy. That's the same with this one. This wing here, this is a more or less finished wing, but it's ugly. So now I've changed the schedule. It's one layer of 1/2 ounce cloth and 2 layers of carbon fiber. Bands going this way and bands going this way, and this is acceptable. And it's strong enough, and it came out perfect. So that's what we're going with right here. And the eventual thing is to build a stunt plane like this. But I'll probably end up sending, once I get the tooling done for it, we'll send it over with Dan to get it autoclaved.
Yeah, at that place he works at.
Yeah.
I've been on the phone a lot with Dan this week. Probably 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm working on some stuff. He's helping me. I got my back into a situation where I can put about 6, 8 hours in the shop now every day without killing me. The epidural shots have really helped a tremendous amount. And, a little bit of Tylenol in the morning, I get through the day. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's to the point where I can focus on building and not think about it. So, just good.
That's good news.
Yeah, it gives me something to do.
Well, they're sending me pictures of his perky inside. His perky was made by Jim Bagani.
Mm-hmm.
And Jim sent me a bunch of pictures. And now Al sent me a bunch of pictures. But now that I got the tooling figured out, I can move on to the next step.
Is that perky thing essentially a speed event or a racing event?
Shit, I don't know. I've never flown it. It's from a standing start, 16 laps.
Okay, so it's a speed event. There's not more than one in the circle at the same time.
Right, just one.
So it's a speed event, yeah.
The actual event was a postal thing. You know, it was on your honor. You run the 16 laps, you take your time, you put it on an envelope, mail it in, and then they averaged them out. And I don't know how it worked exactly, but
You should do stunt that way.
huh?
Should do stunt that way.
Yeah, oh yeah.
The first liar doesn't have a chance.
This is the stabilizer for it here. It's going to have carbon on each side of it, but it's 2 sheets of 16th sandwiched between a piece of Kevlar, and that's what the hinges are, Kevlar.
Mm.
So this thing's bulletproof. I might take a sanding block and sand some of it off, make it a little thinner.
It's bulletproof. Are they having trouble with people shooting at Perky's?
Probably. Well, as I've stated before, this thing needs to be able to do a cartwheel. These are not a stunt. They have the glide path of a set of keys.
So what you're saying is a speed hyphen gymnastics event.
That's exactly right. I've seen many bell cranks pull out of and when we have Perky events here in St. Louis, they pull the bell cranks out of them because there's nothing, nothing there to hold it. But not this one. This one's going to have plywood with carbon fiber over the top of it. It'll be fine.
What are you doing with yourself, Gary?
Oh, just 11. Yeah. Yeah.
Can't believe nobody's on yet.
I
know
know.
you guys-
Well, we're three of us are on.
Yeah. Usually it's pretty full first half hour.
I've been building all day. I need to sit down and rest.
So now that you got your second win, are you coming back?
What, the fly?
Yeah.
Not at the Nationals. I can't do a week at the Nationals. That's just crazy. I might be at the Nationals. They've asked me to come and do appearance point judging. So I got to find another guy to work with me to do appearance point judging. And while I'm out there, I might as well fly Classic. That's a one-day thing. I'd get through that, and it's not going to kill me. But that last year going out there, I think I told you that I was staying with Joel Costantino in his trailer out at the on site. It's really comfortable. And Rick Campbell and I were and Joel were all staying together there. And in the mornings when I got up, I would have to practically crawl across the floor to my meds to get through the day. And one day it was particularly bad, and I'm really struggling to get like 4 feet. And Rick goes to me, he says, "Are you okay?" I said, "No, I'm in cross-eyed pain." So he's a musician, a really good musician. And he sat down that night and wrote a song, which he's since recorded in his studio with bass and drums and everything, called "Cross-Eyed Pain." And I told him, I said, if this thing makes any money, do I get the royalty for naming it? He says, yeah. He says, we're liable to make tens of dollars.
Yeah, maybe.
So I can't get through a whole week. There's no way.
Yeah.
I could probably go out and spectate a whole week, but I wouldn't want to do that. And if I'm going to fly, I want to go out and be in good shape. It means a lot of practice, and it means practicing out there a lot. And I just can't do that anymore.
Well, I won't see you at the Nat this year.
Not going to be there?
No. Can't afford it. I'm gonna do one day at N30 and that's it.
Yeah.
We have no flying time yet either.
Yeah, nobody's had any flying. It's been so windy and rainy and everything else. That's all right. I might fly some local competitions where I only have to, fly for 2 flights in a day, and that would be it. Would be fine. But that whole week out there that's a grind. I did enough of them. And I was happy to bookend last year. I flew the Genesis LC, and at my very first stunt nats, I flew combat in '61, but at my first stunt nats in '73, I flew a Genesis. So I bookended my career by flying a Genesis at my first nats and my last nats. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Still got one of those wings, that the original Hunt wing.
The what now?
I have an original Hunt wing.
Original one.
Yeah, that your dad cut or whatever.
No, my dad never cut a wing in his life.
Well, this is one of your first ones then.
What year?
I don't know. It's pretty old, 90s or.
Oh, that's not even close. I just started doing this commercially in '68.
It's not. I'd have to get it out of the box and.
Yeah, I was doing that from 1968 on. Really heavy. It started really heavy in '69 when I did that stunt machine wing for Gene Schaefer, and then of course when Gene kind of said it was okay, he loved it, and then all of a sudden everybody wanted him. And I was like in business like overnight, getting calls from all over the country.
What was the name of the other business? It wasn't Robin's U Production. It was
Oh,
something.
control. Originally, it was Control Line Specialties originally.
That's
And
what I got.
then when we decided we didn't want to pigeonhole ourselves just for control line, because we had people calling up asking for radio wings and scale wings and race car wings and wind tunnel wings and all kinds of things. We decided to call it Control Specialties, and that's what it was for all the years my dad and I worked together. He did tooling and production of the handles and belt cranks and control horns and all the ancillary hardware items, landing gear mounts and all that stuff. And I did all the wings.
Well, this is one of them wings, Control Line Specialties or whatever.
Yeah, that's an older one. But again, I started doing them commercially. It really started heavy in '69. So, if you got one in the '90s, it's not
Well,
one of
I
the.
don't remember I don't know what year it is. I'm just telling you, it's one of those.
Yeah.
It's heavy, I'll tell you that. Not one of your lighter ones.
Maybe I didn't sheet it.
No, it's not sheeted at all. It's
Oh.
foam core with nothing on it.
Shouldn't be heavy. If it's cored out, it shouldn't be heavy. I did them all out of the same foam all those years.
I'll dig it out and bring it up on the back up here. Not this time because there's all that shit in there. I know where it's at. But it's a Genesis wing.
Had a few of those. Few hundred. Got a few hundred stunt machine wings too. That was a big seller. Stunt machine, the Genesis, Noblers. Got a lot of Noblers. Yeah. Years later, a lot of Saturns and SV11s and SV22s and.
What made the Nobler so popular?
What's that?
What made the Nobler so popular?
Well, it was kind of the first. It wasn't the first flapped airplane for sure. George always credits Bob Palmer with the Glow Devil being the first flapped airplane, and the chief and everything. But George was a good flyer and a competitor for sure, and he just come up with a formula that worked very well and in that time frame, and it was aesthetically pleasing, and I think people just gravitated towards it.
Well,
I mean, Top Flight. We often said that Top Flight could have made a whole lot of money if they just kitted the wing, because a lot of people use that wing in quote unquote original design airplanes, and probably still do to a degree. So, it's a good wing.
I just, when I first saw the plane, I didn't really, I don't know, I didn't like it that well for some reason.
Well, that's different strokes, you know.
But
Why people took the wing and made their own shapes around it, you
made their
know.
own shape. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's kind of how you know. I look at airplanes. I always have looked at them. It's not as individual designs, but mannequins of numbers, like a mannequin in a store window. And you can put any kind of clothing you want on the mannequin within reason, you know, as long as you keep the side areas within reason and everything. You can change it. You can make it look like a World War II fighter or a Goodyear racer or a jet or whatever you want to make it look like. And if the mannequin of numbers is, you know, a good solid set of numbers, they'll all fly, you know, pretty similar, you know. So, and I think that's how most people over the years have done originals, is they take a set of numbers that they know work, and, you know, they'll build an airplane and they might tweak it over a series of airplanes. They might tweak the length of the between the hinge lines and the length of the nose, and from the leading edge to the spinner back plate, and, which are not moment arms, by the way. Everybody calls them moment arms, but they're not moment arms. Um, but everybody, you know, will start with, you have to start someplace. You're not going to reinvent the wheel completely. When we look at where we're flying, they still look basically like a Nobler, you know.
How many ways is there to glue a wing on a fuselage?
What's that?
How many ways is there how many ways is there to glue a wing to a fuselage? One.
Yeah,
They look the
yeah.
same.
Exactly. You know,
Now, on this question, I've always wondered, because I want to build one, and you would know because you're from that area. How did Vic Macaluso's F-14 fly? The SV-11 F-14.
very well, very well. The Crusader flew extremely well. The first Crusader flew well. He won everything in that year. He won every local contest that year against all of us. He didn't do very well at the nationals for some reason, but he flew. He won almost every local contest that year, and there was a lot of local contests in those. We had one almost every weekend in those days.
Where
And
can I get a set of plans? AMA?
What's that?
The plans for that are through the AMA or Flying Model?
Yeah, yeah. AMA it was published in American Aircraft Modeler, and you know all those plans are still with the AMA. You can get them from there. Now the second one he did was basically an SV-11 numbers. You know, is a bigger airplane. But the first one was really good. That's what prompted me to make that F-105 Thunder Chief.
Because I want to build one of those.
Yeah, he was very talented. He could build airplanes. That original Crusader was designed, built, and finished and flown in less than 8 weeks.
I believe it.
And of course, that wasn't the only thing he did. I mean, he was also heavy into scale boats and racing boats, model boats. He was into scale radio control airplanes. He was into full scale boating. He had a 30-foot twin 454 with Loran. I mean, a huge boat. We used to go out on it, and we used to go to this slope, and we anchor and go in and go up the slope and fly slope gliders on the north shore of Long Island. It had so much lift you could slope soar a Lincoln. You know, it was a pretty good updraft. He was very talented, but he was dangerous too because he was my boating columnist at Flying Models. We had a boating column, and we called him Mr. Adjective because he used every adjective in the book. But he would also sneak words in there that had no reason being in an article, and he wanted to make sure we were proofreading his stuff. So we had to proofread his stuff very carefully. He was just a great guy. He was a water skier, competition water skier. He did everything.
Yeah, something how people are talented like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and a heck of a nice guy. I went to when he passed, I went to his wake, and there was a bunch of model airplane flyers there, and we told Vic stories for a couple of hours, you know.
Well, here's one for you on model airplane flyers. I went to Alan Brickhouse's wake and funeral. There was 4 modelers there, but there was million kids.
Well, yeah, well, all his musical students, you know.
There was kids. It seemed like from everywhere in the state. There was so many of them.
Yeah.
Went to Giskey's funeral. There was 4 modelers there. That's it.
Wow.
Of course, his daughter Christy came up too, but
There were a lot at Larry's wake or his memorial service where you had quite a few model airplane flyers there that night. When of course that went late because we went out to a diner and if you're swapping Larry Scarinzi stories, it takes you about a month to get them all out because there's so many of them. You know, he was the funniest guy.
give you
Another,
$100 in Monopoly money.
what's that?
He'll tip you $100 in Monopoly money.
Yeah, exactly. I remember out of Tucson, he was out there in his Cadillac, and of course he had that little can in front of the Cadillac and said, "Help a destitute modeler get home to New Jersey." And people would put money in the can. And then we were staying at the same motel and we're getting ready to leave. And we went out to the Circle K there to fill up with gas. And, you know, Larry wears these old pants and dirty shoes and flannel shirts. And that's how he was buried. That's how he wanted to be buried the way he was. And everybody at the funeral wore flannel shirts, you know, in honor of Larry. So at any rate, he's out there gassing up the Cadillac and he sees this bum, you know, somebody, a homeless guy, coming up and to put the bite on him for some money. And just as the guy gets up to him, Larry turns around and says to the guy, he says, "Hey, buddy, can you spare $5? I can't pay for this gas."
Well, I got to tell you, you know, when I went to Giskey's funeral, the coffin looked like you built it. It was beautiful. It was a plain pine box, but the woodwork was immaculate.
Oh, looks like you built it.
But I told Christy, I said, and I did get him off with a handle. He ended up with a handle in his hand, but they shaved his beard off and they didn't paint his coffin red.
Oh, yeah, they should have done that. Mm. Mm.
He's buried real close to here.
He was originally from Illinois, right?
Yeah, that's where he's buried, up in Illinois.
Everybody thought he was a Texan. He was a transplanted Texan, you know. I talked to his brother. I correspond with his brother a little bit.
What did they do with that Nobler? Did they put it in the museum? The one that Charlie Reeves and...
I didn't see it out there. You would hope that it would get there eventually. I didn't see it out there last year. I mean, you know, you have to go through a nomination process. They just can't donate something to the museum and have it put in. They have to accept it. So you have to write a nomination form. And I wouldn't see where they wouldn't, wouldn't jump at the chance to have one of his airplanes in there. I think they should have one of Scarinzi's too, either the Blue Angel or the Trident, or certainly one of the Super Satans or something like that. But his son doesn't want to give any of them up. So hopefully in the future he'll change his mind so that everybody can see the craftsmanship that Larry did. His airplanes still look brand new. I mean, they look brand new. They were built in '64.
Well, that Formula S that hung on Schaefer's wall is absolutely beautiful. Kostecki, Schaefer paid $40 for it.
Wow.
Of course, that was in the '60s.
I got Kostecki's Talon downstairs, the green Talon from '66 or '67. It was gifted to me at the Nationals. And I told the guy I'd try to restore it, but it's really beat. So what I think I'm going to do instead is build an exact replica and use the airplane I have, which has holes in it, to get all the graphics correct. And, but I'm not going to do that unless I can get an okay from the AMA Museum Committee that they will accept it. I'm not going to go through that kind of work and build an airplane if they're not going to accept it. And they should have one of Jim's in there. Or they should have one of Dave Gerke's in there. I mean, one of the best builders of all time. You know. How are you, Ed?
Ed's doing okay. And that I was having to soak my ankle. I had that surgery 7 months ago with ankle replacement, so
Oh.
had to do that. And I was painting Superman a little bit. I'm doing a RC Superman for the expo that I do.
Okay. Yeah. When is that?
August 8th and 9th. So
Look at that.
yeah, here's one of the legs.
Hold on a second. Make you big. Come on now. Spotlight for everyone. There we go.
Yeah, there we go. Anyway, there is half the leg. I got to do some more red painting here and doing some painting before it gets assembled.
Let me see let me see the feet again. It looks like his feet are on backwards, upside down.
Let's see here. Yeah, you're right. There we go. That's the way it should be. Because I still have to put the top in his arms up here. And
Oh,
here's
okay.
yeah. So motor is in here, a pusher motor.
Hmm.
So, something to attract attention to the kids. We're
Yeah.
also working on if we get it all done, a radio control Snoopy doghouse. But it's we use the quad, so it makes it a lot easier to control and fly. Than that, so yeah. Trying to do that, and then just trying to working on a Brodak Corsair. And that.
Paul Taylor, how you be, PT?
Hey guys,
Well,
Sparky, how'd that handle come out?
Perfect. I haven't flown with it yet, but it's perfect. I took them center sections and cut them down so where it's thinner, and then put the wood on it and carved it up. Perfect.
Nice.
Thank you.
I figured you'd have painted it, made it match your plane or something.
No, not yet. End up putting handle tape on it anyway. Grip tape.
Yeah, Bob, I was telling you, it's August 8th and 9th, but we also have Victoria Yeager coming in as a special guest.
oh
And
wow.
so she's going to be there for both days. And on Friday night, for the guys that come in and help support out of town, we got a special dinner going on and
Wow.
stuff.
Is Mark coming out for that?
Yeah, Will, Mark, some of the scale guys, Phil Bailey, to name a few. Supposed to be a couple more this year. I think from Northern Virginia. Not sure.
Well, depending on how things go for me, maybe I'll make it out with Mark, you know.
Uh-huh. Well, be
Try
glad to have you.
Some smaller things this year, you know.
Yeah.
I can't do week long things anymore, you know. I
Yeah.
can do 1 or 2 day things.
Yep. Yep. So we're trying to get everything in place, and a lot of nice support, which is nice. And I've already talked to TV5, and they want to keep updated, and they're going to have me on TV before that and stuff. So, and also wanted to show guys the turf that we have. The outside turf and the back side of the building is probably big enough for 3 circles. So I'm not sure if there would be any interest in a fun fly or come in and fly like in the late August or September timeframe. They said I could use it once all the the big sports stuff is wound down and stuff. So it's
What's
like,
the
well, I
surface like?
appreciate.
Can you mow it down low enough, and is it
It's
smooth?
artificial. It's artificial.
Wow.
Yeah, and believe me, I wouldn't have any problems with the small wheels I have taking off from it.
Wow.
They gonna mow it still?
No, I don't want to go there.
Is there much turbulence around it? Any kind of buildings or trees or anything?
Oh yeah, you'd be down in a holler. You'd have to the west of you some of the hills, and then the big sports complex to the east, and the prevailing winds kind of comes up from the south to the north.
How far away are the obstacles from the actual flying site? What proximity are they?
Uh, well, if you walk out the building to go to the turf, you're probably talking about 100 feet and stuff. You can probably go to uh, Bridgeport Sports Complex, West Virginia, and they have a map there. The hills in the back, it's a lot further out and stuff. I've done some stuff with the kids there, and as far as rockets and things like that goes, and you have to watch days of the wind, but also it hasn't been terribly bad. And when we do the control line, we're doing it on the ball fields on the other side of the building, on the east side of the building. But you're across the street and everything, and actually you're up higher and stuff. So I was going to make a video, and that way I can show it. But I would like to try to get something in the area to just let people know and stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I also have been talking with just started talking with what they call it, Olympiad, Science Olympiad,
Olympiad.
and then Technical Students Association. So you got TSA and Science Olympiad that do all kinds of competition with the schools. This year it was indoor helicopter endurance.
Are they affiliated with STEM at all?
I couldn't tell you that. I just got the contacts. We're just starting to talk to each other. I'm trying to get them to come to the event and advertise. And on the Technical Students Association, our area did not even participate because of funding. I guess they're looking for a couple $100 for the winner. And I says, well, my golly, if you're worried about a couple $100 for something like that, I says, just let me know. And, I'll gladly take care of that. So I told him, I says, don't forget me next year. And it's always in April and that. So so the schools have rocket competition. Our aerospace industry does have build your own RC plane. So that's also being done, and I'm talking with the middle schools about control line also, and that. So I've been dealing with the state representative for the education system, and they're looking at what can we do for middle school and high school, and middle school is a general explanation of everything that's out there, and then high school you can go deeper into it. So I'm trying to get them to see, well, let's do something, and that. So fingers crossed.
I'm surprised that the aviation industry in general hasn't gotten more into this to stimulate interest in model airplanes, to stimulate interest in aviation so that because they're going to need mechanics, they're going to need air traffic controllers, they're going to need everything.
Well, you know what Boeing said 2 years ago? In the next 10 years, we need 650,000 more pilots, 690,000 more mechanics, just under 1 million flight attendants. Plus, you've got all the other jobs that support jobs that go to that.
Ancillary jobs,
Yeah. So luckily, West Virginia, like I said, when our airport puts $1.2 billion into the economy, it kind of opened their eyes. And so I've got people now contacting me about what can we do. And I was this week, I was at a middle school with 500 kids.
Let's just hope it's not a little too late, getting the
Yeah.
up prime now and getting it going. It's going to take a while. You know, even if they jump in with both feet, it's going to take a while to get everything geared up.
Yep. Yeah.
We
So
have one prime example of a young man who is came up from, I've known him since he was a little kid, and went to Embry-Riddle and became an air traffic controller. Now he's transferred from Texas up to Chicago, which is, I guess, a much bigger.
oh yeah.
You know, it's Matt Cullen, and he's one of our top stunt flyers. And you know, there's a good success story right there.
Yep. And there's
Loved
multiple
aviation.
of them.
Yeah, he loved aviation from the time he was a kid, and it transferred from application into a vocation.
I mean, Burt Rutan, Hoot Gibson, Neil Armstrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So they're getting it, and that. So we're pretty fortunate that that they're showing an interest. So just trying to get the middle schools and the high schools to do something and get it going. Because like I said, we just got to get one person to say, you know, I think this is something I really like, and I've certainly seen that. Last Wednesday, I did 6th, 7th, and 8th grade class, 150 to 170 at a time. And at the end, I was like, well, now how many are interested in aerospace or something about it? And we probably had 20 hands each time put their hand up. So who knows?
Yeah.
And they were all invited to the expo. And I did the 3-minute video, and I says, you see everybody on this video? That's guys and girls just like you. So you could be doing it. So we hope.
Hi, Steve.
Hello. How's everyone doing?
Pretty
Just
good.
peachy. Won't do any good to complain.
Yeah. Got to do some flying yesterday before our club meeting.
Weather was good. We're supposed to have great weather Saturday, Sunday here in West Virginia.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be that great here. Kind of windy.
Yeah, we've had a really windy spring here, tremendously windy.
Sunday's Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Won't be any flying around here.
Yep.
Looks like they're going to start with the rain again on Monday.
Yep.
They need to turn the harp off.
Yeah. Maybe Wednesday. Let's see what the wind looks like. Oh man, gust to 21 in the afternoon. That sucks.
Perfect weather.
Oh yeah, especially for trying out a new airplane, huh?
Yeah. You find your
Well,
spinner?
I did. Everything is in a bag in the truck, so I won't forget it. And the bolt I got fits. Tried it out.
Sounds like you're speaking from experience, putting it in the truck ahead of time.
You got
Yeah,
halfway
'cause
there and didn't bring the stuff.
I was supposed to go over to Sparky's on what was it? Or not yesterday, Wednesday,
I guess.
Thursday. No, it was Thursday. And I stopped by the hobby shop to get the right size bolt and realized that I had left the spinner at my home. So I'd turn around and go back home.
Well, don't feel bad. We've all done it. I went to the field twice, and if you do it once, you know, shame on you if you do it. You know what I'm saying. But I forgot batteries. I charged
Oh,
it back.
no.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's only 12 minutes to my field, but I feel like a dunce, you know.
Then you
Yeah.
got there and say, "Oh shit, I forgot the lines."
At least have all that stuff in one box. So.
You have to have a checklist now as we get older, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get in the car, a little checklist. Got everything, you know. Got my water. I got, you know.
There we go. Well, I've forgotten the water before. Used to forget my chair, but now it lives in the truck.
Mm.
Some of them forgot their wings or forgot the radio.
Oh my.
I forgot my radio.
Oh, Bob Stork.
Yeah.
Um, Mark Hughes put some Gumby on the tail.
Yeah.
He finally believed you, I guess. Seemed to be better.
Yeah, he needs to get the weight off the nose. You know, he needs a carbon fiber tank and a carbon fiber spinner. And I don't know what propeller he's got up. Needs a rev up prop on it, light as you can get on the nose.
Yeah, he was trying some different props, but I think he went back to the Zor.
You know, adding weight to the tail, yeah, it'll make it turn faster, but it's not the same as taking the weight off the nose.
That's true. The inertia still works on it, and it wants to go outward and push the nose inward.
Yeah, I can believe it. What's Paul up to? He's in his workshop. They probably already told everybody about that airplane in the background.
Yeah, looks like a Pathfinder.
That is a Pathfinder. I am putting a new motor mount on it.
Motor mount for electric?
Yeah, yeah. I like the way it flies.
Why
I
are you
like
changing the motor mount?
uh, because the one that I had in there, when I printed it, it printed a void. So I noticed
Oh,
I noticed it had a crack in it. So I was
oh
just like,
yeah.
well,
Okay. So you
yeah,
printed up a new one and
Hold it up to
yeah.
the camera. Let's see that motor mount, Paul.
Oh, that one's wood. Well, the firewall's wood, but here's the motor mount.
I'd like to see what a printed motor mount looks like.
Well, this is what they have on the Badass website, and my
oh,
son just took their drawing or took their schematic and drew this up. So
so
that's
that's a rear mount. No, that's a front mount.
no, it's a rear.
Oh, it is a rear. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna mount it as a rear mount, but um, yeah, that's the Badass mount.
And it's on their website.
Well, the schematic is, and my son's a CAD guy, and he just looked at the schematic and he goes, "Hold my beer, Dad," and he drew this up.
All right.
So I put that out on Stunt Hangar. That file's out there if anybody wants it.
Oh, okay. I'll have to look for that.
And
Now
just
all I got to do is buy a $1,000 printer, Steve.
no,
Yeah.
you go on Facebook Marketplace and you buy one for like $80.
Wow. That's not bad.
I mean the Ender 3s are almost, people are just I see them all the time. Somebody's like, I used it 3 times, or I don't know how to use it, and I'm like, if I had the space, I'd be running 3 of them.
Hmm.
But I mean, it's they're not hard if you have the files. You just like printing a piece of paper. You just go print, and
Yeah.
there it goes.
Yeah. Let it go. Huh?
Yeah. Well, I guess the hardest part is just setting the printer up. But if you can build a control line plane, you can set one of these printers up.
I don't believe that because I got a 3-axis router and a 3-axis laser out in the garage. I've had it for 5 years now, and I routed out one nose ring. I can't figure the damn thing out.
Hmm.
G code.
It's because you don't have a teenage son
That's it.
There you go.
or daughter, for that matter.
Exactly right.
Any kid.
Well, it's all G code, but if you if you
I'm supposed to be
You
able
know-
to do it in Inkscape, but I can't get the Inkscape to interface with the G code. And I've unloaded and loaded the program and all the add-ons and plugins, and it don't work. So I just gave up.
Yeah, I don't know much about the CNC stuff, but like the printers, they use G code as well, but it's all embedded in a STL file. So once you create it in a CAD program and export it to an STL file, it's all G code. You just send it to the printer. And I've heard of people taking these 3D printers and turning them into CNC routers. They just take the print head off of it and put a router head on it.
Well, I got mine's a router and a laser cutter. Can't use the laser in the house because it smells like you're burning the house down.
Oh man.
I'll bring it in one night. I had it on the program before. I bought it when I was at John's. We couldn't figure out how to make it work. It talks in metric too, and I don't speak that language.
It's a lot easier to draw stuff up in millimeters than it is in fractions.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
anything,
I want
much-
a nose ring. How big is it? 53 or 52 and a half or 52?
what? How
2 inches.
2 inches? I got to run it through my calipers, but
Yeah.
I mean, I just take my calipers and stick it on there, and whatever it is in inches, it comes up in millimeters, and I'm like, I can plug in, 52.5 better than I can, take a 2.5 inches and convert it into a decimal.
2,500, but no big deal. 25,000.
So did the Harley Davidsons, did they have metric screws and stuff on them?
No. No, V-Rods had metric, but because that engine was built by Porsche, but Harley Davidson's all standard. There are a few metric bolts on it, but not many.
I know they used to get all their nuts and bolts from Annixter or a division of Annixter.
They got good hardware on them, no doubt about that.
Yeah. Chris Sterner, the guy that runs the control line at Oshkosh, was kind of like one of the salespeople. Well, his only customer was Harley Davidson, and he pretty much lived at their facility.
And there is no better chrome than Harley Davidson chrome. Snap-on uses the same company, I think. The chrome on that is perfect.
I think you need to put that Perky away, and I think you need to do another one of these.
Over to the left. There you go. Yeah, where was
Yeah,
that?
there you go.
Well, that was the Nats.
Yeah.
Well, I built, I think, six or seven of those, and I haven't been able to build them light enough yet, so I give up.
What do they weigh?
What is whose weight? Mine or Billy's?
What did yours weigh and what did Billy's weigh?
Billy's weighed 53 ounces, and mine was close to 70. When I
Wow.
saw Billy's airplane in 2004, I go, man, that is impressive. And I didn't bother to ask one question. If you remember this, Bob, when I took all them measurements, how much does it weigh? I didn't know that it was only 53 ounces.
Yeah.
Well, I think that I think the red one, is that the one he put retracts in, Bob?
No, the bubble, the first bubble had the retracts in it. Actually, both of them were set up for retracts, but he didn't use them. He only had retracts in a test bed airplane that actually worked. Dean Pappas came up with a system, and we flew it in an airplane he called he had a Blue Max long before Kaz had one. It was a twin rudder thing. It looked a little bit like a Gialdini type airplane, and they converted that for retracts as a test because they wanted to build the Thunderbolts with retracts. And he came in. We built the wings here for both Thunderbolts, the first two Thunderbolts, the Bubble and the Razor, and we didn't know anything about geometry, how to draw the thing so that when it retracted, the wheels would go subsurface to the wing, and so the doors would close properly. So we were just making up set after set after set of little ribs that hold the retracts and trying to get the right geometry, And we went on for like about 8 hours making sets of ribs and putting them in there and trying, bounce in and holding the gear down with the wrong angles. And we finally got it right. And I said, man, this took a while. And he said, well, he says, Rome wasn't retracted in a day. And then he never used them.
Wow.
Well, his best looking Thunderbolt was the X1A, but he knew that he had made it too long. It had a 22-inch tail moment, and that thing was nice looking. You know which one I'm talking about, right, Bob?
Yeah, the one that had their fuselage that bolted together, and that's where it came apart.
Yeah, that
right behind the wing.
Yeah, that thing, the ink job on that was absolutely flawless.
I was there when he was doing it.
Absolutely flawless. Man, I looked at that and went, wow.
And it was a short-lived airplane.
What happened to it?
Well, he made it to the back of the fuselage, bolted to the front of the fuselage, had a formers that fit together, and it disassembled itself in the air.
Oh, wow.
I think that kind of broke his heart because he had dihedral and everything. That was a really nice airplane.
What does SpaceX call that? They call it a RUD.
A RUD?
A RUD, RUD, for like rapid, unexpected disassembly or something like that.
That's what it was. Yeah.
But when you look at this thing, it was museum quality. The ink on it. It was. He did. How many gazillion rivet did it have on it?
Yeah. And a lot of the ink he did was not ink. A lot of times he would put down masking tape that had the little seams in it, and he would peel up the thing that was the width of a panel line, and he'd paint it, and then peel up the rest of the tape, and it looked just like ink, but it was actually paint.
Chart tape you can use also.
Yeah.
Lay chart tape down.
He was very inventive. He is very inventive. I shouldn't say was.
Wow.
Well, on my Thunderbolt, those lines that go, the fillet line that goes up on the fuselage, I tried about, 20 times to ink it, and I ended up painting it on.
Yeah. Going around compound curves and things, it's easier to paint it than it is to ink it.
Yeah.
Well, I've solved the ink line problem. I just tell people my airplanes are models of full-scale composite airplanes that have no panels. They're just moved. So there's no ink lines. Like a Rutan airplane.
Yeah, I miss seeing the models with all the cockpit detail too. I know that adds weight, but it was a cool factor too.
Yeah. Back in the 60s, late 60s with Gialdini, but also Dave Gerke. Man, he was Amazing interior stuff. But if you look close at all the little ink, all the little ledger sets that were all over his airplane, you would think they were supposed to be aviation nomenclature, but actually it was off of HO railroads. So it said this boxcar no more than 400 cattle or whatever. You know, it was like, nobody bothered to read it. You know, it was just all over the airplane.
All the nomenclature on my Thunderbolt was the correct nomenclature, but it was cut by Stunt Hangar. Cost $150 a sheet for 8.5 by 11 of those little tiny spray on. He quit doing them. I mean, it must have drove him crazy to pick all them. But that, I guess that's where Billy got his too, because his was all the right stuff.
Well, as Dean Pappas often says, there's only one hobby: spending money.
Mhm.
That was a sad day in Memphis when that thing went in.
Yeah, that was I remember that I remember that day because you asked Lou to launch you, and Lou was running a contest, and he was like, "Get Paul to launch you." And first thing he had me do was take my ring off,
Uh-huh.
and I was just honored just to touch the plane. I'm just like, wow. And yeah, it was.
There
That
was
was
no way I could run to keep the lines tight either. No way.
No, it came straight down. It stopped right overhead. There was nowhere to go.
I should have known better. You know, it was a warm day running 15% nitro. The tank is only so big. Run out of fuel.
Yeah. Yeah, that was not pretty. Well, here's Charlie Shark. I don't know if you guys remember that one.
That's a Hummler, isn't
I
it?
remember that. I saw that airplane fly.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think this one's the Shark.
That was a 61 Nationals or 62 Nationals.
Yeah. It's good to see that Lou and Zerl went to visit Charlie. Said he was doing okay.
Yeah, that's good to hear.
Yeah, just moving slow.
You've been around a long time.
Yeah. Hey Bob, did Billy ever fly that Guardian?
Yeah. Yeah, he used to fly.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think he ever competed with it. The reason he built that was that he and Dave Wallach, if you know who Dave Wallach is,
Good name.
a competitor from that area, was a carrier flyer. And he got Billy all excited about carrier. And they started making carrier airplanes for Wallach. And they were making Guardians. And he decided he wanted to build a stunt Guardian. So that's not the Berkeley airplane. That's his own design. It's his own.
Oh, okay.
That wasn't a Berkeley Guardian. That was his own. And then, later years, I'm sure you know that Joe Reinhardt still has a gorgeous Guardian. He built. It's beautiful. Reinhardt's one of the best builders on the planet.
I like his Cycle 6. You ever see that?
Yeah, I've seen most of his airplanes. The Snoopies and you know, he's some builder. What a lively group.
Yeah. Friday nights, exciting.
I was in the shop all day long. I'm working on a new twin. Actually, I got 3 new twins. And one of them's a fully sheeted built-up wing.
You gonna finish that big one I got back to you?
I'm selling that to Phil Bailey.
Oh,
He wanted to buy that one. It's a little too big. It's 735 squares. And as
It's
Billy always said,
airplane.
as Billy Werbridge always said, if you build an airplane that's bigger than you are, sooner or later it's going to whoop you.
It's a big airplane.
And it's a big airplane. And I don't need that much airplane at the end of the lines anymore. I like the 650 size airplane. You know, it just power systems are lighter. Everything's better. You know, we're pretty much settled on a mannequin of numbers now. So now we're just working on different aesthetics.
I kind of feel that way with that Shrike. I put in 4 flights with that thing, and it's a workout.
Yeah, it'll beat you to death on a windy day. That's for sure. You know.
Yeah, it's all I want to pull.
And Phil's a much bigger guy than I am, so he can handle it. He's younger too, so you know. And that's got retracts in it. That one. I did the retract thing once. I was going to do it second time with that airplane, but you know, I got it out of my system. It's just one more thing that can go wrong. It does add weight. It does reduce drag dramatically. I mentioned this here before some years back when we did our first test bed twin. Buddy Weeder and I built a big test bed twin, 720 square inch wing, and it was a profile nacelles, but they had retracts that retracted up next to the nacelle and had a nose gear that went into the built-up fuselage. And the first day out, Buddy was all hot. He wanted to retract the gear right away. And I'm a little more practical. And I said, no, let's get the motors running first. Let's, make sure this thing's going to run. And we spent the first day just flying batteries out with the gear down. And I went home and it was a 4000 4S. We had 2 power 10s with 10 5 props on it. And there were the APCs, heavy props. Went home and then we put back in 2400 milliamps into a 4000 after patterns. Still really good. And then we went out the next day and we retracted the landing gear and we came home and charged the batteries. We put 1800 milliamps in, 25% less power usage with the gear up. 25%.
Is that one battery in a twin?
One battery.
Wow.
Now I'm using the 2600 6S ions, and they're really good.
So can you tell with the gear up, is there any better performance like in the maneuvers?
I think there's a little less tendency for the airplane to roll in turbulence, but you really don't notice anything dramatic. You don't notice anything real. You can talk yourself into believing that you're feeling anything.
Yeah, yeah.
And I've now that I've had them with the gear down, I don't notice any difference as far as the flying characteristics. Everybody said, "Oh, when the gear goes up, the handle settings are going to change." Handle setting didn't change. No, but 25% less, 25%, less drag on the airplane. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Well, then you could probably go to a smaller battery and save weight.
Boy, howdy, yeah. And even smaller motors probably, although we're doing that anyway. We learned that we can get away with those 23 millimeter motors, the 2314s, I think they are. That's what Frank McMillan has in his full-size twin, and it works great. I've been using 28 millimeter motors, and Paul Walker said you're wasting. It's a waste. You don't need that big a motor, and he's right. You got to start someplace, though. So.
Now, are you doing the counter rotating?
Yeah. Well, I should try all four permutations. I should try tops of the props turning towards the canopy, tops of the props turning away from the canopy, both props turning left, both props turning right, which you can do in one flying session. You know, if you just move the positive to negatives, and change any two wires, and you can change the direction of the motor. But the only two rotation things I've tried are the tops of the props turning towards the canopy and both props reverse pitch. And I didn't notice any difference.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah. I thought there would be a dramatic difference, but there really wasn't. So, you know. And now that was on that airplane. That was on the second win, which was the first twin. So, and I didn't have all that many flights on it either. I mean, I went to the Nats with one or two patterns on it, and that's when I was having real bad back problems. And I left the Nationals with 14 flights on the airplane.
Yeah, but all your stuff probably flies about the same anyway. So,
You know, I mean, I try. You know, my publicity is working because everybody thinks that, but that's not the truth. You know.
okay.
I've had good airplanes. I've had so-so airplanes. I've had one really bad airplane in my lifetime. I haven't had a whole bunch of good ones, but yeah, generally, if you build accurately, and, I always talk about those 5 attributes that every airplane has to have. I'm not so much a believer that the design is a critical thing, because all the airplanes we have today, if you overlay the plans, if you make them all to the same wingspan and overlay the plans, there's not 3% difference in all the airplanes we're flying. They're very, very similar. So it boils down to something besides design. It boils down to execution. And those 5 things in no particular order, right? It has to be light. I don't mean feather light, but it has to be a reasonable amount of ounces per square foot of wing loading, so that in high density altitude, hot days, the airplane doesn't stall. I've had them as low as 9.8 ounces per square foot, and I've had them as high as 12. I would say someplace in the 11s is probably optimal. So light, and then the next one, it has to be accurate. I mean, we all know that, especially the wing center line, the tail center line, the decollage has to be perfect, but everything else has to be perfect too. And then the third thing is rigidity, because if the airplane is accurate on the workbench, but not accurate under load, it's not accurate. You only think it's accurate. So the airplane has to maintain its accuracy in turbulence and wind and extreme conditions. And then the fourth thing is the powertrain. And I don't care if it's glow, electric, steam, nuclear, or 2 chipmunks on a turntable spinning the prop. It's got to be powerful enough to do the job. It's got to be consistent over a long period of time. It's got to be understandable and tunable by the owner. And then the fifth thing is the fully adjustable and robust control system that at minimum allows you to adjust elevator flap neutraling and elevator flap ratio. If all 5 of those attributes are in any airplane, it's going to be a good airplane. If any one is missing, it's going to be a caricature of a good airplane. My story, and I'm sticking to it.
I wrote that down.
And Billy and I came up with that list of attributes on those trips we took out to VSC. It was 9 trips we took together. Half the trip was spent working out better harmonies to Grateful Dead and Jackson Browne songs, and the other half was spent talking about model airplanes. So we talked a lot about model airplanes. That was a 2,750-mile trip one way. Did it 9 times.
Wow. You guys should have wrote a book.
It would have been censored.
Well,
Those
the
are
model airplane stuff anyway.
Those were fun trips. There's a lot of stuff I could do I could totally give out in the after party, but I can't tell about it online.
Hey, Mark Gerber,
Hey, Mark.
Hey, Steve. Hey, Bob.
how's the jigsaw puzzle going?
Well, it's going back together thanks to Bob's lost film jig.
What
All
happened?
right, all right.
What
Glad to
happened?
hear it.
I got my feet tangled up in a cord and I fell into it.
Oh, oh no.
Let's see if, there we go.
Before I get to the Bearcat, the club had I built it
Oh, yeah.
event Tuesday night. So you can bring an airplane that you built and put on display. So here's my Ryan.
Yeah.
This is the scratch built row here. Some of these are 3D printed. They're really impressive. They're light as can be. And then here's the old time row. This is Chris Brainerd's Barnstormer.
Jim Lee's or Trossel's?
This is Keith Troussel's Spirit of St. Louis from Mechanics Illustrated. The same plane that
Mhm.
Jim Lee built, and they both brought him to VSC the same time. Neither one of them knew the other was working on it.
Mm.
And then there's my monogram Maranka up there. Here's
My
here's the
God.
damage to the Bearcat.
Oh no.
It broke the tail off and
Gosh.
cracked the wing.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
So
Oh,
he said he thought I could just take some hot stuff and put it back together in a week or so. I said, not quite.
oh my gosh. That's a tragedy.
Mm.
Well, I'm putting it back together now. So
Oh,
here's my inspiration. This is Al Ravy's
easy to sugar.
snaggletooth that he dropped when he was taking it off the wall. And he broke
That's
the
the
wing.
original Easy 2 from back in the 70s. I flew that airplane.
Yeah, he repaired this and you couldn't tell anything was wrong with it once he got it all fixed. But he took the wing, stripped it all down, and I said it's my inspiration to get the Bearcat back into action. So
That may have been a later one though. It doesn't look exactly like the
I don't
Easy.
know. Yeah, I don't know. He made so many of these. I'm not sure which one.
Yeah.
It's in his book number 3 in his um, series of books that he's got on Google, or somebody has on Google. Anyway, here's the broken wing. The spar didn't break, fortunately,
Boy.
but it's separated from some of the webbing in here. So I got in there with a glue gun. I made a clamp here so I could squeeze it back together. Here's the glue gun. I could reach in there
Mm.
and
Wow.
put the glue where I needed it. So that worked out pretty good. And then I printed out the um, rib patterns from my CAD program. And I cut out the pieces I wanted. And here's one I taped on or glued it onto the balsa wood and cut it out. So I basically was able to replicate the
Wow.
laser cut ribs pretty accurately. And so here's the broken rib section all rebuilt.
Good
These are
grief.
the new rib sections in here that I cut out, and then I put little edging around the whole thing. And then I molded. Here's where you use your bucks again, Bob.
Yeah.
Don't throw them away.
Yeah. No. I got them out in the. I got stacks of those things out in my shed for all the wings I built, and
You
they're
know
just.
which ones go to which wings?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I have
Okay.
everything indexed and inventoried.
So anyway, I molded another shell for the broken part of the wing. And here it's all fit, ready to glue in. I'll do that. I'll glue it tomorrow.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I made it with 3/32 instead of 7/64. So that'll give me a little bit of margin here. I can sand it down. So I don't think when I get the plane all built, you'll be able to tell anything happened to the wing. The tail will require some more work. So
Oh boy. It's almost easier to build a new one, isn't it?
no.
Every time I get into one of those projects, I refinishing or rebuilding something, I say I could build a new one quicker.
Well, The worst thing about the tail was that the stabilizer broke in half. But I've got the old tail section from my first Bearcat, and it's still in good shape. It wasn't damaged when that crashed. So I think I'm going to try to take the stabilizer out of the old one and reuse it here.
Wow.
So we'll see how that goes, but I'll be starting on that next week. So
Told you how to strip it, right?
what's that, Sparky?
I told you how to strip it, right?
How to strip it?
Yeah, strip the paint off.
Oh, I wasn't going to take the paint off, but what did you tell me to do?
You take saran wrap and you paint the paint stripper that you get from Lowe's. You can get the citrus stripper or whatever, but you paint it on there and then wrap it up in saran wrap, let it sit for a half hour, and then come back, and when you peel the saran wrap off, it's down to the bare wood.
That won't take off class coat, will it?
Well, some type of stripper will take it off. Aircraft stripper will take it off.
Anyway, I don't need to strip it because it's already the color I'm going to use. So all I just need to do is get it out of the old Bearcat and carefully cut it out and preserve it and then put it into this one.
Wow.
So,
Better man than me, Gunga Din.
well, it was a bad day, I'll tell you.
Here's that EZ2 Sugar that he flew.
Yeah, there you go.
At the Nationals in '74. I flew that airplane that year. Did the best rounds of any airplane I've ever flown in my life, and it's cornered like a bowling ball.
My only fear of the reconstructing the Bearcats, I hope I don't add too much weight to it, but
Wow.
we'll see.
Mm, mm. I'm doing a fully sheeted built-up wing right now. Mark, you were here before. I was talking about I'm building another twin, about a 650, 660 square inch twin with a fully sheeted built-up wing. Did you, when you made your sheeting, I mean, did you put the leading edge mold, the shells on up to a spar and then join your sheeting to the back of those over a spar so you have a platen on which to stand so you don't get dips in the
Yeah.
yeah.
I did
Well,
just like you had in your video.
Yeah, I'm doing that too. But you know what I mean? The first time I did it, on the first couple of airplanes, I did fully sheeted built-up wings. I did use no more than about 1.6-inch rib spacing so you don't get that starved horse look. And then I use quarter grain. I have a whole stack of really nice quarter grain I've collected over the years. It's like 4-pound quarter grain. And just to make sure it was stiff enough, I would join the skins, fit them to the wing and everything. And then I'd sand them and vacuum them. And then I put a Z-epoxy finishing resin on the side that was going to go towards the ribs. And I screed it out and then I'd heat it so it soaked in, and then I'd wipe every last bit off. And it only added like less than a gram, you know. And then I'd sand it, and not only did it stiffen up the wood, but it also ensured that when I put the Z-epoxy onto the ribs to put the sheeting on, that the Z-epoxy wouldn't soak into the balsa wood. It would adhere better. And so I did that. It worked great. Your wings look like they're foam wings. They don't have any wave in it at all. But this time, I think I'm going to do it on both sides of the sheeting. I'm going to put the Z-epoxy on both sides. So it's essentially pre-finished on the top too. When I join it to the back of the leading edge shells, all I have to do is, you know, finish up the leading edge shells.
Yeah, that's where I basically was when the damage occurred, was I was applying the Z-epoxy on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
And you get a nice shell. You can tell it's a lot stiffer.
Oh yeah, and it doesn't add much weight at all. I mean,
Yeah, and here's what it looks like.
And then if you use two coats,
Here's what it looked like when I
oh yeah,
That's after the third coat is epoxy on the outside with the heating gun each time, and
And the second and third coat adds virtually nothing in weight.
yeah, and wicking it off each time with the heat gun.
Yep.
I did move the table farther away from the wall, so I got more room to get around it. So hopefully I won't trip again.
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm.
Paul's playing with fire.
Fire, fire.
What are you doing, Paul?
I 3D printed some letters in this cowling, and
Ah,
the D and the A and the P. Well, the center sections would come out, so I'm just going to melt a little bit of PLA and pack it across the back of them there. So when I take the part up, the letters will be whole.
the guy that brought those 3D printed airplanes to the I Built It event at our club, he got some files off the web. The people had designed them,
Yeah,
and he just printed them off. He didn't do any design work at all.
yeah.
And they're really light. I was really impressed.
Well, they actually have I mean, this is the filament right here, but they have what they call light PLA. So I don't know what the characteristics of it. But
balsa wood PLA.
yeah,
They
you
got
say
carbon
that.
fiber PLA.
Yeah, you say that though, but I've got some PLA. When you print it, it looks like it's got a wood grain to it.
Oh, okay. These look like plastic, but they were light as could be, but they had all kinds of structure on the inside.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, that's what I did with this. You just tell it a shell, and then you tell it how thick you want it to be. So I mean, it just comes out as a shell. And I don't have any light PLA, but I like the PET G because it's a little bit more heat resistant, and we got the Florida sun down here, so
Hmm.
Are you making a mold or what?
no, I'm making a cow. It's just going to be a cover to cover the electronics on the side of my profile.
How model building has changed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I don't have any balsa wood to make a bottom block for that Viper that I've got. And I really don't have any balsa wood to mold it, so I'm going to do the bottom and the turtle deck out of carbon fiber now that I got it figured out.
Hmm.
I'm waiting to see when the first 3D printed stunters show up. I don't know anybody that's working on one, but looks to me like it's a feasible
Yep.
thing to try.
It's inevitable, you know. Huh? Hey, time marches on. Things change.
Yeah, Keith Troussel and I were at the hobby shop a couple of years ago down in Denver, and we were looking at a 3D printed airplane. And Keith was looking at me like, "Don't you think you could print a stunner like one of those?" You know. And I said, "Well, I'm busy building Bearcats."
Well, you probably could. Has anybody seen the 3D printed stuff that Tyler Perry's mechanic builds?
Rami,
Yeah,
yeah, he built some neat stuff.
he's got. I think the last thing he built was what was it, a seven? What was it, a 737 Max or something?
30-foot long.
Yeah,
Hmm.
but he's got all the high end gear, resin printers and
Hmm.
CNC machines. Yeah, he's got a full scale runway in his by his barn or his hangar, I guess.
Mhm. Mhm.
Anybody ever see Charlie's Aries? The red one?
Super Aries, isn't
Is
it?
that Charlie Reeves?
Yeah.
It's painted just like Billy did his back in the what was it, 70? No, it was 67.
Let me make it big.
Los Alamitos.
That's about right.
Put it back up there, Paul. Oh. Yeah, I've seen that airplane.
Yeah, I think he had it at Paducah. Did Billy change the color of his Aries though? Didn't he change it to blue?
Well, he had several Aries. He had a couple of Super Aries. He had a gray and black and gold one. He had a red one.
Green one, didn't he?
Might have had a green one. He had a lot of, Billy built a lot of airplanes, more than people realize. See if I can find a picture of that one he had. The red one. I know I have a picture here someplace of it. Yeah, he flew the red one out at. Wait a minute, wasn't the red one wasn't flown in Los Alamitos? I think that was the blue one. I think you're right. He had a red one though too.
But didn't he repaint? I thought he repainted one of them.
He may have. I mean, he did a lot of that kind of stuff. He would completely, refinish airplanes and modify them and repaint them, and he was a madman. No, I got a picture of it someplace. It's going to be hard to find though. We have it here.
I thoroughly enjoyed that video that you did with him when they took all of his planes out of the attic.
Yeah, well, what a day that was. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
His mother went nuts. Stop making noise going up and down the stairs. And that's before I was really into, I just got the equipment really in my first ventures into it. And I didn't know anything about videotaping. And I had the sun in the wrong place. And if you notice at the end of that video, I figured it out. I had the sun behind me and it was a lot better, looked a lot better. The color was better and everything. But the information was good. That was, I guess, the main thing. But
Yeah.
it was good information. It was historic. I mean, it would be good. I wish I could have gotten more guys, like Billy and Bear and and interview them and let them tell all the stories because, that all that stuff's going to be lost.
Yeah.
It's all going to be lost. So, that'll be it. I don't know what to do with that. I know I have a picture of that, but I don't know exactly where it is right now. We'll try one more place here. I got so many pictures here. Find it here. A few people took advantage of that offer I made, and it's still open for my entire collection of photos, which is over 5,000 photos. And so somebody just sends me a thumb drive. It's at least 4 meg, I believe. 4 meg. I can just copy them off and send it back. No charge. Just send me a self-addressed stamp envelope with a thumb drive, and I can happy to do it. I don't want these things to die with me. So. Can't find that picture. I know I have it.
There's thumb drive.
Huh?
I said, there's a thumb drive. It might even be the one I sent you.
Yeah. Have you looked at them yet?
Oh yeah, a lot.
A lot of pictures there, huh?
Yeah.
I found it here. I found it. Here you go. I got to go to share. And yes,
Oh, yeah.
see if I can.
Yep.
Can you name all the people left to right? Name all the people in that photograph.
Like Ted Fancher, it kind of looks like Jerry Phelps, but I don't know.
Nope, neither one of them.
Mm-mm.
On the far left, that's Jim Silhavy with the Cadrone. Then Dick Williams flew at, I think, the '64 World Championships when his airplanes were stolen. Jim had that as a backup airplane, and he lent it to Dick, and they let him fly it because back in those days, it was a builder of the model rule and FAI, and they let him fly because his airplanes had been stolen. The guy next to him is John Hobble with the Folkerts. The guy in the back there, who's that holding up the airplane?
Goldini.
Oh, Havy?
That's Gildini. He won that year.
Yeah.
That was '63. He won with the Stingray. And there's the blue Super Aries. The Billy's
Billy
home.
was what, 13 years old?
You would think, but he wasn't. And then right in front of him with the Venus is Mario Rondinelli. That's a fully sheeted built-up wing. And then who's the guy holding the blue Aries on the right?
Oh no.
Anybody comes up with this name, I'll send them a free lost foam fixture.
Steve
That's-
Woolley.
Nope, that's Ed Kammerer. It was a friend of Billy's who flew back then. He was a pretty good flyer. Took fifth at the Nats or fourth at the Nats one year in senior, which was a very hotly contested in those years. That's Eddie Kammerer. And who's the guy kneeling down in front of Eddie there?
Jerry Cipra.
Jerry Sipper, right. And he's flying essentially the same airplane as that yellow airplane on the left with a different paint scheme.
He must have altered the flaps or something.
Now, the other one had the flaps down. It's the same airplane. It's, he called his the Palomino, but it was really Havel's Folkerts.
Yeah, but it looks like those flaps are not finished. Like,
Oh, I think that's just a reflection. The flaps are
oh,
reflecting.
thought maybe he had to redo them for some reason.
I just think it's reflect. He was a good finisher, or maybe his dad was,
Yeah.
But that's pretty historic photo, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
What year is this, Bob?
63.
63. Yeah, I see it
Los
up there.
Alamitos.
63. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's Jimmy's Aries. I think he tried to copy Billy's.
Yeah. Jim was some builder too. Wow.
Yeah. He liked Billy's stuff. He had 2 Geos, 2 Aries. I think that's the only Billy planes he had. But
He had a really pretty Sheik's FW-190.
oh yeah,
Wow,
and,
really nice airplane.
yeah, he had Jack sign it one year when we went to Brodax.
No.
And there's Howard's iPhone.
Howard.
Looks like you're out of doors.
I'm out of doors. I'm out here by Circle One, fixing to slice down if my foot works.
Mm.
How many circles do you have?
Just one.
No, it's circle one. I'm in circle one.
If you're a computer engineer, it would be circle 0.
Ooh.
I saw an article about I should forward it to the Steve Smith, but I saw this article about a North Korean spy trying to get a job at a U.S. tech company, and he used the name Steve Smith.
Oh my.
So I don't know that you can be trusted.
Yeah. Wow.
We know you can't be trusted, so
Next thing you know, they'll be judging stunt at the Nats or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Learning our stunt secrets.
Hey, and there's the man from down under.
Yeah, you gotta go.
Hey,
Hi, Jonathan.
Hi, John.
I had my carpal tunnels done.
Oh,
ooh,
Looks
Had
like
a-
fun.
Yeah, had them both
yeah.
done now.
Once that heals up, you'll be flying well again.
Yeah, well, as long as I don't end up with the old, what do they call it? The Viking claw.
Oh no, no, that
I'll
would
be
not.
right. Yeah. How are you guys anyway? All happy up there?
Pretty
Northern
good.
Hemisphere?
Weather's starting to improve.
Yeah.
One day
That's
older.
good. Yeah, we're all getting older. How many are in there today? How are you, Bob? Rob, I should say.
We're
Haven't
good.
seen you for a while.
Yeah, I've been under the weather.
Oh, it's no good. You coming
Now
right now?
I'm feeling better now. So,
Good.
yeah. Not 100%, but I'm feeling better. I've had epidural shots my back, and now I can at least get through the day without screaming too loud.
Mm.
Ah, you had back problems, eh?
Oh yeah, well I broke my back in the service back in '68. I've had debilitating problems ever since then. I have stenosis, scoliosis, herniated disc, disintegrating disc. I got the trifecta, and
Ah,
if you're going
lovely.
to win a lottery, that's not the one to win. So.
No, no.
But
But
the
you don't do
doctor
things
told,
by
doctor
half.
told me in 2015, he said, you're going to be in a wheelchair by 2020. And it's
Oh, no.
2025, and I'm still not in a wheelchair. So,
Oh, well, that's
Right.
good. Well, yeah, you don't do things by half, by the sound of it, Rob.
yeah.
Yeah, but having a crook back's no joke. No joke.
No.
And what about that beer cat, Mark? How are you getting on with that? Have you
Yeah.
had the
Don't
inclination
ask. Did you see his previous thing? He talked about it. What happened?
Yeah.
No,
I
it
think
just
he did.
came on. I know he fell over on it and
Yeah.
dug it up the tail and made a bit of a mess.
Wow.
Not very nice, was it, Mark? Not a nice thing to do.
No,
No,
not a good
it's,
thing at all.
no. I've done it.
Okay, here's
Fallen
a
over.
just a couple of quick pictures for you. I'm working on the wing.
Yep.
I got that all cleaned up and
Yep.
re-glued. And then
So what was the verbiage that you used when this happened?
You
I
better
think I
wait
was
till we're
I think
not
I
on
was
YouTube.
speechless. I
Wait till the after party and tell us, right?
Yeah.
think I was speechless as I recall. And then I molded a new piece, and here's a piece fit in. I'm going to glue that tomorrow. Then I'll have the wing back where it was, and I can start working on the tail. So
Good grief.
And the tail, I think, was sort of pretty much a bunch of matchsticks by the look of it.
yeah, the stabilizer broke in half, and that's
Uh,
I think I'm going to take the old one out of my previous Bearcat because the tail on the Bearcat #1 wasn't damaged much when I crashed.
yeah.
I don't think Bearcats are really lucky for you for some reason here.
You're
Mm.
jinxed, I guess. I don't know.
Wow.
It might have hit one with a car sometime.
I've done that.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. In Aussie, you got to watch out for kangaroos jumping in front of you in
I
Australia.
did it twice.
Oh, no. Yeah. Who else we got in there? We got Paul. I can't see him. Is Sparky in there?
He's around here
Yeah.
someplace.
yeah,
Yeah,
he's
he's in there underneath the airplane. Paul's waving. Jonathan, did you get in touch with
Oh, yeah.
Karen?
No, I haven't got in touch with her because I was tied up with this. This all happened rather quickly. We had a cancellation, so I could get in and get it done. So
Ah, okay.
these are only a couple of days old, and so I haven't had a chance to do much really. Haven't been able to do much really. But
Yeah, I believe it.
you're going to do it tomorrow, aren't you? Oh, that's a fuzzy picture.
Well, I think for you it's Sunday morning.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't
It was
have your,
yesterday, you missed it.
I don't have your email, Jonathan, and I asked Karen to forward some things to you, but apparently she hadn't had a
Oh,
chance.
well, I've got Kevin's number. I was going to ring him. I'll give him a ring. When I finish with you guys, I'll ring them up,
Okay, that's fine.
get that sorted, and I can jump on tomorrow morning. It's Mother's Day here tomorrow morning, of course.
It'll be Sunday morning, your time.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Friday now for us.
Yeah.
No, for you, it's Saturday morning, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No, we're ahead of you. I've sold
12
everything
hours.
on the share market. I'll let you know. Sold everything last night on your share market. No, it doesn't work like that, unfortunately, in real time.
No.
Yeah. Anyway, what have you been up to, Stephen? You been doing any flying?
Yeah, yeah. Got some flights in yesterday afternoon.
Oh, that's good. I haven't picked up a stick for about a month now. Every last couple of times I tried, I had tank problems and engine problems. You know, the old story. If you don't prepare, you prepare to fail, don't you? And I got out to
Yeah.
the airfield, and nothing would work, and so I came away frustrated.
Yeah, I bet.
But we've had bad weather here. We've had quite a few storms roar through, and our flying field up at Green Road, north of Auckland, is underwater.
Mm-hmm.
There
Hey,
are
we had
literally-
that.
There are
We had
literally,
that in St. Louis.
yeah,
Our field went underwater 3 times this spring.
yeah. When the camera came on up there, you could see the ducks in the middle of the pond out in the car.
Oh my.
Bloody hell! That's wet. That's a lot of rain.
Yeah.
Be all right if I had a flying boat.
There you go. You're heading into fall, right?
No, we're in winter now.
Oh, it's winter. Okay.
Oh yeah, we're in our winter now. Yeah, yeah. I think we're going to get a fairly cold winter by the feel of it too. Despite all this global warming, we've got massive snow dumps down on the Alps further south, and ski fields and things opening early this year. So, and they tell me the Antarctic's growing in ice. So go figure. Go figure. Who else is there? We got Howard. How are you, Howard? What are you up to?
I'm about to attempt to fly stunt.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
good.
gonna fly.
Have you done that before?
Yeah,
Couple times.
He's on circle 1.
I want,
Yeah.
And the clock's running.
yeah, it
You're
is.
going to show us. You're going to put us in the judge's seat.
That'd frighten me. I think you'll be edge on to where those maneuvers are. So,
Oh, okay.
Oh, so we can see his angles.
well, I hope you don't see anything.
45, 90. Yeah.
Well, I got the score sheet out, Stephen. You got yours out?
Oh,
I'm ready.
flown since November.
I can even hold a pencil if I struggle.
Ooh. Yeah, that
There you
you'll
go.
heal up in no time.
Well, I hope so. Well, my hands might, but I don't know about the rest of me. And Gary, how are you, Gary? What you been up to?
Very good.
Gary Sinclair.
Yeah,
At least he stayed awake.
just making it.
Yeah.
Oh well, it's better than not making it.
Yeah,
Usually by
Yeah.
now he's asleep, so.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Sparky's got his pressure cooker going. What you cooking?
Degassing resin.
What's he up to? I can see him there in the small screen.
He's
He got
molding.
Ah, is that for that perky or something? Is it?
Yes.
Yeah, pressure cooker.
I thought you might have been canning some salmon or something there, and that.
gotta make another. I gotta make another mold like this one
Right.
so I can get out the other half of this.
Mm.
Okay. And you were getting frustrated there, Sparky, at one stage. Have you got all the little buggers ironed out now?
I got half of it ironed out. We'll see if I can get the other half done.
Right.
Part of my problem was the tooling. I needed to make a good tool like this one here.
Yes.
And that's
Bob, what's that blue floppy stuff? I missed that somewhere along the line when I was watching the videos.
what?
That blue floppy stuff that's in the shape of the wing.
Yeah, I didn't show it.
Oh, well, that's why. Oh, it's a secret.
Yeah. I
Okay,
didn't
never
show it
mind.
because I didn't know if it was going to work or not. But
Oh,
it
okay.
works perfect.
Looks like it's made out of chewing gum.
Silicone, 100%.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
So you put the carbon in the mold and all that crap, and then you put the peel ply on it. Then you take this blue thing that I poured in it, put this all in the vacuum bag, and this sucks down everything to the outside. So it's all
Really good have
the other
Okay.
one done that way.
So you put a spar in there, don't you? Inside your wing, you put a spar and a bell crank and so on.
Yeah, there's a spar in it and a bell crank.
Yeah, it has got a bell crank. Yeah. Not a lot of room in there, Sparky, is there? It's only what, about a centimeter or something, half an inch or something?
How thick is a centimeter?
12 and a half millimeters. That's about half an inch.
Thinner than that.
10 centimeters is just under half a centimeter, or 10 millimeters is just under half an inch.
Yeah, this
12
is
and a half millimeters is half an inch.
3/8.
Okay.
Pretty thin.
Yeah. Okay.
It looks like I got all the air out of it. I'm gonna get out of it.
So what's actually in there again?
I'll
Taking
tell
the
you,
air out of what?
take the vacuum off. Resin. Epoxy.
Okay.
So you take this is the buck, the plug,
Yep. Yep.
and then you take this resin. You paint it all over the thing, and then you put down 1/2 ounce cloth and a layer of carbon fiber.
Yes.
I'm gonna pull a vacuum and get that sucked down tight to
Yep.
this.
Yeah, I saw you doing that earlier on. Yeah.
And tomorrow I'll come back and put some more fiberglass on it.
Is it turning out pretty light but strong?
Well, now that I got it figured out, yeah. Before it was kind of heavy. I didn't know the schedule to do, but it'll be fine. So right now I'm not making a wing. I'm making the mold to make the wing.
Yes. Yes. It's a hell of a lot of work, Sparky.
I've got a month in it. I have nothing to show for it.
Well, sell it to somebody who can make 4 million of them, and then you could turn your abilities to making another baby bee or something like that to sell to go with it.
China's not accepting any orders.
No.
Is the Perky event that popular that there's going to be 4 million people flying them?
A lot of them that fly it, but not 4 million's worth, I don't believe.
Now, is it a one design thing?
Yes,
Okay.
the 1948 airplane. And
Huh.
the only reason why mine's carbon fiber is because it says construction modifications are allowed. So,
They didn't build them like this in 48?
no, I don't think so. And I'm really working towards a full scale stunt ship. So I wanted to be able to do this instead of wasting a ton of money learning how to do it on a big airplane. We'll just waste a lot of money doing it on a little airplane.
And then did you say you hope to be able to use what you've learned there to build a large stunt aircraft the same way?
Yes, there's guys doing it. Jose Modesto and Almovs and
Yeah.
Doran. I mean,
But Sparky, you spent your whole life turning balsa wood and paper and dope into magic. So now you're going to turn resin and carbon fiber and stuff into magic instead.
we're running out of balsa wood, so I got to figure something out.
Well, that's true.
Oh.
That's true. Are they still sticking them in these damn windmill
No.
blades?
No,
No,
they actually found something better for that now.
Oh, thank
carbon
God for that.
fiber now.
I think they're using like a Rojo cell or something as a core.
I would think they'd use foam, but
Yeah, Rojo cell kind of foam.
Yeah, well, they certainly buggered up the modelling industry with sawing down just about every balsa wood they could lay their hand on.
well, actually, they're really a small portion. The windmill
Are
pieces,
they? Really?
they're
Okay.
used in shipping.
Oh, yes. I've seen that. They line the walls of tankers and things with it, don't they? Balsa wood and stuff. And
That's what
then
caused
stainless steel, don't they?
that's what caused the shortage of balsa back in the 70s. They were lining them, but then they're not lining the tankers with that anymore. They did it back then though, and we had a big shortage of balsa wood back then.
Oh, right.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
How long does that stuff work for, Sparky, before it goes hot?
About 90 minutes.
Oh, that's all right.
Not polyester resin. It's only good for 12 minutes. This is epoxy.
Okay.
And you don't wear gloves?
No, you don't get it on your hands.
Oh, okay.
You're not supposed to be eating it or
That reminds me of a joke, but I can't tell it on this program. Now that you say that's did you say that's epoxy rather than polyester?
yeah.
And what's the working time is different, but what else is what's the advantage or disadvantage of each one?
Well, this is high temp resin, meaning that I can heat it up to 250 degrees. This is HDR
Okay.
250. Polyester would catch on fire at that rate.
Yes. But you're not going to be baking a dinner in it or putting it in the oven. So what's the other
I got a hot
advantage?
box. I am gonna you got to cure it, to post cure it, so that it
Oh,
molecularly. I don't know. I don't know the chemistry behind it. You got to talk to Howard. He knows. Don't you, Howard?
I don't know.
okay.
What kind of resin you got?
This is HTR 250 from Resin Services.
Oh, I don't know about that.
You know about EPON 862, right?
815, I use a lot of that.
I use 862 with triethytetramine or Teta hardener.
Yeah, is that the fuel tank stuff?
Yes.
Yeah, that works good.
It must have xylene in it, Sparky?
No. No. There's nothing real. Everything's a warning. There's nothing real heavy duty about this resin. Not gonna. What's it gonna take? 10 minutes more off my life?
Well, what the bad thing that can happen with epoxy resin is you get an allergy to it.
Oh,
That's what I was wondering. Is there a really strong smell to that?
Not to this, can't smell it at all. Well, kind of, you
Because
can
I'm allergic to a lot of things, so like sometimes I have to leave the workshop when Len's working with certain things because I'll start reacting to
Like
the
super
smell of
fill.
it, like superfill.
Hmm.
I can see leaving the workshop for superfill.
you don't like superfill.
No, I'm mentally allergic to
It
it.
doesn't have any odor, Howard.
No.
I love
No, I
super.
don't know what it is, but something about the smell of it, like as soon as Len starts working with it, if I'm even in the same room, I start reacting to it immediately.
Wow.
Yeah, I do too.
So
My reaction involves profanity.
Wow.
epoxy not so bad, but superfill, it just I don't know, there's something that they put in the resin or the superfill itself that
The
just
ammonia, it's you.
Mm.
Are you allergic to ammonia?
I don't really use ammonia, so I couldn't really say. I don't even use bleach anymore. I try to avoid any strong chemicals.
Superfill smells like cat pee. Ammonia.
Yeah. I know they put it in certain stuff, but I try to avoid those kind of chemicals.
Hmm.
I use vinegar and stuff like that for cleaning instead of.
It's probably why Sparky's still going well at his age.
I've
Yeah.
been pumping Aerogloss paint and thinner and all kind of stuff for forever.
You wouldn't know he's 27. You know?
Yeah.
He's been pickled.
Howard, you say you don't like superfill?
No, I don't.
Why? Yes.
It's just
He doesn't have a good reason. He just doesn't like it.
I find it difficult to make fillets with.
Wow. I find it to be the easiest thing I've ever used.
Huh.
That's what Len says too.
I love it.
He else says.
Way better than epoxylite.
Yeah, he likes epoxylite.
I like epoxylite. You gotta microwave it to get rid of the chocolate chips, but get those solution, it's okay.
Wow. Well, different strokes for different folks.
I guess.
Now I'm putting the gloves on because I'm going to touch it.
They're about to operate.
Yeah. I got to take the scraper and push it down into the cracks. And then we'll put the breather on it and vacuum bag it.
Hmm.
Make a good parting line.
Yeah.
And I'm by no means the expert at this. You got to watch Dan Winship's video for.
What do you use for a vacuum pump?
It's an OMT. I'll show you here in a second. And I'm running a vacuum chamber in between. I burned up one vacuum pump already on this project.
Oh, that sucks.
Monday I'll have the vacuum switch.
I got it, John.
Yeah, there's that ambiguity there, of course.
As long as we don't have to clutch at straws. You ever used a straw for suction?
I
Pull it out of a zip
like
a
for
Ziploc bag.
something. I've done that.
It works quite good for if you haven't got a vacuum pump and you want to freeze some fish or something.
Uh,
Now, Easy Composite says you can use a regular vacuum and a closed vacuum bag to do all of this job with.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Huh. Harbor Freight has a pretty good one. Sometimes it's on sale for $80.
That's the one I burn up.
That's one. Yeah, I've got one that I burned it up, I think. But it maybe I was thinking maybe it's just out of oil. I haven't tried to put oil in it. You don't want to use that near where you're making airplanes though, because it uses a silicone oil and it puts out this silicone oil mist in the air,
Oh,
which will make your finish different.
yeah.
Keep it outside.
Yeah. There's a few politicians that I reckon we could use as a vacuum pump. Just take it through the valve and plug it into the back of their head. I'm not talking about your politicians. I'm talking about ours down here.
I think politicians universally, it doesn't matter where they're from or which side they're on.
Yeah, that's for sure. They're all blowhards.
You could get a job in a shop any day packing sheets and blankets there, Sparky. You're doing a good job.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if this bag's gonna be long enough for this project here. Long enough for the other one.
One aspect of dementia is that you keep finding things and you wonder what they are. Here's a that I made. I have no idea what it is, but it's useful for hiding your own Easter eggs. But
That's what it is. I was going to say.
Yeah, it's sort of a nuisance.
I bought this vacuum pump, Howard, off of Amazon. It comes with a vacuum chamber and the pump.
Oh,
You can find it on my link on my Amazon store.
okay.
It was cheap. It was $120, I think, for the whole setup.
How much of a vacuum will it pull? Have you?
28 inches.
28.
Which is amazing.
That's getting up there.
29 is perfect.
Well, depends on the.
That's one atmosphere. What's one atmosphere? 29 inches, isn't it? Is that right? I don't know.
Depends on the live, I think.
I think it does depend where you live. If you're in the mountains, it would be less, wouldn't it?
I don't remember. It's like 28 to 30, somewhere in there.
I have to get Robbie up. He could tell you. Works with this stuff every day.
Is he doing any stunt?
Hey, what? Yeah. Well, he's flying that little twin that I built, and he loves it. So he's working up to getting an airplane done. So we'll see.
Tell him to put the tail in the back. He's kind of on the wrong.
Yeah, he's back to that again.
Okay, good. Yeah, that'll help.
Well, the whole family was bitten with that canard bug. So
yeah. Well,
all right. It shows its ugly head. It's like malaria. Every few years it comes back.
Yeah, I went through that phase a little bit.
Yeah. I had one that actually worked really well, but I could never duplicate it. Worked really good. Dean Pappas crashed it.
I think I'm gonna have to make another bag. It ain't quite long enough.
You need an assistant there to hold that valve for you, Sparky.
Yeah. About ready to put the vice grip on it.
Steve, run over and help him, will you?
Well, I'll take the dog out. Go fly a little stunt.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, by the time I'd get there, that resin would be set up.
Yeah.
Well, I think I'm gonna head out, guys. It's been good seeing you again.
Gloves off.
Take care, Bob.
Yeah, Bob.
We will
Yeah, hang in there, Bob.
Yeah.
See you, man.
catch you next time.
See ya.
Yeah.
Too many little things sticking out here and there. But if I don't get it this time, I'm gonna whip off and make a new bag up. There
You
we
can't tape it, Sparky. It's not tape's not good enough.
No. You can, I got some tape that'll work. It's Gumby tape, but it would be hard to get in. This is a tube. This is not a regular bag.
Yeah, yeah.
But I need to get it started pulling down here shortly. There we go. I got it.
All right.
At least with that epoxy, you got a bit more time on your side, eh?
If I was using Bondo resin, I'd be screwed already. Be setting up.
Yeah.
Nope, I didn't get it. So
Yeah.
start again. I just go from scratch. Can't screw around. It ain't. I must have used this bag twice. And I cut the end off or something.
Oh, okay. You cut your own. Yeah, right.
Make it extra long here. Best thing I ever bought right here.
Yeah.
Electric scissors. They work great. I'm sucking the vacuum on the chamber right now so that when I open the valve, the bag will go immediately closed. Or thereabouts.
Is that electric cutter rechargeable, or have you got a?
Yeah, it's rechargeable.
Okay. Not a bad thing to have. Does it work quite well on silk span and stuff like that?
I haven't tried it on silk span, but I'm sure it would. It does
Yeah.
not. It does not cut the field fly where the ship.
Okay.
It gets caught up in the field fly, but it cuts the breather real good and cuts carbon real good and fiberglass real good.
That's handy.
The scissors are tough to cut carbon with. They just
Yeah.
okay. Here we go. Get this going here. Come on.
Have you guys seen that cardboard Fokker twin engine bomber I'm making just to prove cardboard can fly? Did I show that to you a few weeks ago?
I don't think I've seen it.
I don't think so.
I'll go and get it. I'll bring it back.
Don't ask me to change nothing till I get done here.
Yeah, I'll wait till you finish. Yeah.
I gotta. I'm in kind of a pickle right now. I gotta keep going.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You need another pair of hands there, man.
Yeah, he needs help.
You got a virtual reality camera? We can put a hand in there and help you.
Yeah. I think I got it now, though.
Better be long enough.
Yeah, it's long enough this time.
Good one.
Oh. Anybody still on here, Sparky?
Everybody's still on
Yeah,
here.
we're still.
Yep, we're still breathing.
Okay, I'm on my phone at Joe Knoll.
Canada.
Been lurking in the background. How's Canada these days, Len?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay,
How's
it's
your new Prime Minister? How's Canada?
all good. No complaints. Not doing much airplane stuff these days. I've been really busy.
Did you fly today?
Oh yeah, we got the one flight. Get the one flight every day.
Good.
That's good. That's good.
Have
We're
you
up
ever
to-
added up the number of laps? Len, how many laps have you done in the last 12 months?
Oh, I don't know how many laps. I couldn't tell you.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Today was day 242.
Days or laps?
242 242 days in a row of flying control line.
Right.
Deal here.
Pretty much only getting one flight a day though. Just too many life's in the way right now. So until I can get life back on track, there's not much flying happening. Just get out and get the flight every day. That's it.
Mm.
I heard a good saying the other day, Len. When
What's
you
that?
make plans, life gets in the way.
That's right. It's so
Yep.
true. Yeah, life is what happens when you're busy making other plans.
Yes, something like that too. Yeah, very
Something
true.
like that.
No, it's all
Anyway,
good.
we'll get back at it, just not for a while.
There we go. There we go.
There it goes.
Or if somebody wants to buy my house,
Still got that problem,
oh
Yeah,
yeah,
he does.
I'm on the do not call list, but that don't mean nothing.
Arky, you said somebody wants to buy your house?
Yeah,
Yeah. They bug him all the time to buy it.
Yeah, he's on a spam caller list.
I'm gonna have to change my phone number, I think.
That might be the only way to really do it. Of course, those auto dialers, they just run through the numbers until they find one that hits. So I don't know if changing your number would really help. I mean, they'll eventually find you again.
Hey, there we go. We're pulling back in.
Yay.
Good one.
So I'll let this go until about midnight. Then I'll put on 2 more layers of chop or 3 more layers of chop. And tomorrow I'll have the top part of this. You still on here, Howard? Guess not. You get this bucket and this pump.
I think he's flying.
I think
Yeah, I
he's
think he's
flying.
gone
Yeah.
to pick up his handle.
Okay, well, I'm going to end the stream on YouTube for the after party and turn it over to Gary. See here.
Yeah, I'm here.
I was going out to roll out my lines, and then I got to wondering whether I've got the right airplane's lines here.
Uh-oh.
Here's
Uh-oh.
that pump, Howard.
Maybe I'll try. I'll try them and see how they work.
What?
Oh, I'll go try these lines and see how they work. I think the other ones are the ones I'm supposed to use. I'll go get the other line.
Thank you, buddy. Is Mike still there?
I'm sure he is. All right, let me end this on YouTube. Hey, everybody there on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe. Hey, we got a super chat from Al Ferrara. Thank you, Al.
All right.
Yeah.
Bill Bailey says, very interesting. I don't know why he wasn't on tonight, but
He's probably doing all.
oh, that's right. All right, I'm going to end the stream on YouTube. And if you're in the after party, it'll be turned over to Gary. I appreciate you watching. Gotta go here. Please like, subscribe, and share, and we'll see you later. Fair winds, tight lines. See ya. All right, that part is done.